I don't think anybody ever truly can be above anxiety. I have certainly over the years learned to manage my anxiety much better than I did when I was younger. I was a fearful speaker very early in my life and learned through techniques and through research I did and books I've written, conversations I've had to be much less nervous. I'll tell you, every year there's one circumstance that will always get me nervous. There is a gathering of people who do what I do, people who teach communication skills at top business schools. We get together every year and we share best practices. It's a wonderful group of people. And sometimes I'm asked to present, and I'll tell you, I get really nervous in front of that group. And there are things I do to help manage that anxiety, certainly. But for me, when I'm in front of my peers, people who know as much or more than I do, who I respect and have looked up to and read a lot about, I get pretty nervous.
After all, we are humans. I think you rightly mentioned that we have to manage the anxiety rather than try to overcome because it's there, it's just like in different proportions. And I think that reminds me about my journey from podcasts as well. I have never,
Hmm.
I mean, apart from my office calls, I never enabled my camera and then try to talk like that. And
Hmm.
I was like, let's give it a challenge. And a lot of people were surprised when I started this because there's so
Huh.
much of self-doubt. I grew up in India. I know that I have a lot of grammatical errors also sometimes, so I'm not perfect. But
Hmm.
I think the best way to do that is just to put yourself out there and start
Hmm.
learning with the folks like you and try to incorporate those learnings and try to have those continuous journey of, I would say, a good communicator.
Well, I applaud your effort. Taking on a podcast is hard, it's challenging, but it's also wonderfully rewarding, not only for those of us who are hosts, because you get to talk to just really cool people, but also knowing that there are others who are listening and potentially benefiting from what you're saying. So it's a laudable effort, but it can be nerve-wracking and definitely takes a lot of time.
Yes, exactly. So let's talk about the anxiety you mentioned. Different people across the board have different sort of anxieties.
Mhm.
Do you have any suggestions about what are maybe some scientifically proven anxiety mitigation steps, which works approximately everyone when they would like to communicate and try to ease their anxiety in that manner?
I love how you said that, easing anxiety. I think that's a really nice way to put it. Again, I don't think we can ever truly overcome all of our anxiety around communication, but we can certainly manage it and make ourselves feel more comfortable. The tricky thing is, everybody's different, and our sources of anxiety can be different because our experiences are different, our biology is different. And so there's no one way that can help everybody. That's why the first book I wrote, Speaking Up Without Freaking Out, looks at 50 academically verified techniques. And I'm happy if three or five of the 50 apply to any one person. But let me share a few that seem to have a broader impact than some of the others. So, clearly, one of the best things we can all do is to do some deep belly breaths. If you've ever done yoga or Tai Chi or
Mhm.
Qigong, it's this deep belly breathing that can actually calm our autonomic nervous system. And I learned from one of my guests that what's most important is not the inhale, it's the exhale. All the magic happens during the exhale. So you want your exhale to be twice as long as your inhale. So if you take a 3 count in, take a 6 count out.